Hello and welcome to this week's Team Intelligence Hints and Tips updates to help you create a unified high-performing team. My name is Greg Bolus, I'm the CEO of Bolus & Associates. This week I've been reading a book by Patrick Lencioni. You may have heard of him. The book actually follows on a book that he was talking about, the 5 points of high-performing teams. And this particular one was more of a workbook. I believe it's called The Advantage, Why Organisational Health, I should say, trumps everything else in business. And one thing that he mentioned in there that really got me thinking was how your team actually handles conflict. Do they use conflict in a productive way that actually progresses the team forward? Do they work together to then create a better outcome for the business? Or do you find that you have other outcomes for conflict? So this week what I wanted to talk about and to discuss with you is to talk about the 4 different behavioural types that we use in the team intelligence model, and to show you how each behavioural type responds to conflict. Now, Patrick Lencioni, he raises a really interesting point in the book. You've essentially got 3 types of conflict. You've got the type of conflict which just causes chaos and carnage in a business and tears it apart. You've then also got the type of false reality where everyone just agrees for the sake of agreeing, where meetings are really boring and everything just progresses along and the team leader makes the decision and everyone else just says yes, but perhaps then walks away and says something completely opposite when they get back to their office, and then when it doesn't actually work, they say, well, I never supported it anyway. The third option is where there's actually productive conflict. And what I mean by that is, as I mentioned before, is that you'll see an environment where your meetings are actually, they're vibrant, there's emotion flying around in a good way, and it's where people can voice their opinions, be heard, and really debate topics and decisions that need to drive the team and drive the business forward. And it's really imperative that teams really can grow and establish the trust, as Lencioni talks about, and the vulnerability where they feel that they can actually express their opinions, express their reasons why they think that it should be a particular way or a different way, and then for not being judged. Now, what I wanted to do was to give you a quick overview of how each of these actually responds to conflict, and then just to get you guys to have a look at how your team actually is made up and perhaps see which behavioural types you guys have in your team. So the lion is all about, they love conflict. They see it as a challenge, and for them, it's all about winning. And because it's all about winning, if they're in an unresourceful lion behavioural state, they actually will focus on the point of their opinion is the best and it's the only answer. So they can be quite, it's just like, 2 bulls butting heads. That's typically what you can have in a team environment with a lion behaviour, especially if you've got 2 lions debating a topic together. The dolphin hates conflict because they're all about being liked. Now, their major fear is actually not being liked by people. So what they'll do is they'll make jokes and lighten the mood in a meeting if there's ever any debate or if there's any conflict, because they want to bring it back down to a point where everyone's having fun. That's what it really is about for them. The mother bear also hates conflict because their primary driver is actually the sense of needing to feel comfortable. So if there's conflict, they're uncomfortable, and what they'll do is they'll play the mediator role. And what I mean by that is that they will try and appease everyone and bring the team back together, but that's where the false unity, the false reality seems to be created, where you think everything's okay, but then there's still people that haven't aired out their opinions and wanted to debate a particular decision. So they need to really be comfortable with being uncomfortable, but know that it's actually in a productive way and it's not a character assassination or it's an emotionally based argument. The squirrel will engage in conflict or debate, but from a facts and figures perspective. They will debate until the cows come home if a number doesn't meet a particular process because they're process driven. So they'll tend to argue more about a process decision or a decision about creating a new system or something that's not right because in the past it's been proven to be another aspect, another path, whatever it is. So there's a quick overview of the 4 behavioural types and how they respond to conflict. And as I said, I really wanted to open up to you guys now is to understand how each of these work, but then also start to reflect on your team and who in your team do you think is each of these behavioural types. And then have a look at how your team meetings are actually structured at the moment. Do you have productive conflict? If you don't have productive conflict, you've probably got that false environment where everyone seems happy, yet you probably haven't set the structure where people feel that they can actually voice their opinion without being judged by others. And that's the key to really building a high-performing team, is where they've got that basis of vulnerability, they've got that trust in each other, and they've got each other's back because they know that if they voice their opinion, they won't be judged. And then what they do is high-performing teams move forward because even if they don't agree with the decision, their opinion has been aired and they then have ownership of what is actually taken forward. So that's a wrap for this week. Thanks very much for watching. If you're interested to know how our team intelligence model can help you create a unified high-performing team, get in touch with us. Our email address is info@boasandassociates.com, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.